I'm Heather Vale, and I'm speaking with Michael Rosenberg, Chief Revenue Officer for Content.ad, one of the world's largest content-native advertising networks. Michael, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me, Heather. It's a pleasure.
So, can you tell us what exactly makes Content.ad stand apart from all the other advertising platforms?
Well, first of all, Content.ad is a native advertising platform. There are a lot of advertising platforms out there that are all sorts of different types of advertising and ad units. Native advertising has come upon the scene in the past 4 or 5 years, I guess, and there are probably 4 or 5 major players in the native advertising space, us being one of them. Native advertising is really, ads that are not IAB standard ad units. Often you'll see them at the bottom of articles. And really, the genesis of native advertising was to put ads that look a little bit more like content to battle banner blindness. As you probably know, very few people click on banners these days. And so this is kind of an alternative unit that offers publishers a way to monetize their websites in a way that users actually interact with. So one of the big differences is that we are a native advertising unit platform rather than the standard kind of platform, and we just sort of, I think our practices and the way we operate distinguish us from the other players in the native space. We're very transparent. We give a lot of control to our publishers, and we just operate in a way that is highly ethical and very open, and we're really just a solid, good company with a very innovative technology.
Okay. Why do you think native advertising is so popular lately?
Well, as I said, I'm sure you're familiar with the concept of banner blindness.
Yeah.
The revenue that publishers make over the last few years has really declined from banner ads as consumers, as ad blocking occurs. And as consumers just get tired of banners. They just don't click on them. So that leaves publishers in a little bit of a pinch because, as you know, very few consumers are willing to pay for content. So if you want to hire editors and hire journalists like yourself to create content, you need to monetize it in some way. And if those banners are not monetizing the way they used to, you need to find alternative ways to monetize that content. And so that's really how native advertising sort of came on the scene 4 or 5 years ago. And what native does is it's not, a lot of it is ads that are very contextually relevant to the content that the user's reading. And as a result of that, they don't really look like banners. They don't often look exactly like ads. And as a result, consumers click on them more than they do with banners. And therefore, they yield a higher CPM or eCPM for publishers than banners do now.
Okay, so you've talked about banner blindness, but now it seems like we're kind of getting into the territory where there's going to start being clickbait blindness, so to speak, because some of these content ads are, they rely heavily on clickbait, as we call it, so really interest-driving headlines that don't always deliver when people get to the content. So you kind of end up with a disappointed viewer sometimes.
Yes.
How do you address that?
So I don't think native advertising blindness is upon us yet. It may be there sometime in the future. I think we've got a few years before that happens. Remember, banners have been around for, 12, 13 years now, right? So
more like 20 years, I think.
Yeah. But so it takes a while for that to happen, and I suspect that it'll take a little while for that to happen with content recommendation ads also. There certainly are, there's kind of a tension between ads that have a high click-through rate and quality of ads, which is kind of what you're talking about. And what's interesting is, when you tone down your ads significantly, the click-through rate goes down, and the publishers complain that they're not making as much money as they used to. So there's this tension between a great user experience and high click-through rate ads, which generate high monetization for the publisher. So we have that balance all the time. And one of the features I think you and I are going to talk about later, the family-friendly feature, really comes out of that, and it comes out of that question that you asked, where we do run some ads that are for an older or more mature audience. And we had feedback from both publishers and users that some people don't want to see those ads, either children or just people who don't want to see those kind of ads. And we thought to ourselves, well, how can we, customize this so users are more in control? And we launched this family-friendly feature, which we believe is the only one in the industry, where users can click on the logo or the button on the top right of the widget. The widget is the ad unit we call that contains, 3 to 6 to 9 ads. And they can enable this feature called Family-Friendly. And what that does is it removes all of those ads that are targeted to a more mature, more adult audience. And what's cool about it is it's actually by device. So it doesn't matter what site you're on, as long as you're on the same phone or the same PC or the same tablet. If our widgets are on a site that you're on and you've selected family friendly in the past, those ads will continue to be family friendly.
Okay, so a parent, for example, would have to activate the family-friendly feature once, and then if their kids are using the computer in the future, they don't have to worry about it again.
Absolutely, that's correct. Content.ad offers many, many features that we probably offer more controls than anybody else to the publisher. So a publisher, when they sign up with us, first of all, they set their rating for their widgets, and they can have different ratings by widget, but they could have a G rating, a PG rating, a PG-13 rating. That's up to the publisher. So if a publisher, for instance, picks PG-13, which is a little bit racier than G, they now have this family-friendly feature for people who come on their site who don't want to see PG-13 ads and will now see G ads. So they can benefit from the higher monetization of PG-13 ads, but still cater to the desires of their audience who want to see G or even friendlier than G type ads.
Okay, cool. So family-friendly feature is one of the publishing tools that you guys have just launched. What are some of the other ones?
We're really on a push to bring transparency into native and to give our publishers and our users more control, and also to get more feedback from our customers and incorporate it into our platform. So family-friendly is obviously one of those things. Another one that we were doing is what we're calling traffic source reporting. And the way it works is a lot of publishers, so if you're an owner of a website, you're buying traffic from all sorts of different places. So you're buying traffic from Facebook, you're buying traffic from Google, you're buying traffic from Content.ad. And that traffic comes to your page, and that traffic behaves very differently, even though it's landing on the same page. So what our publishers wanted to know is they wanted to know which traffic sources they're buying from are yielding the most Content.ad revenue for them. And it was all being mushed together. So all they saw was they were making this CPM on this million impressions. What we were able to do was to break that apart and show them the yield by Facebook, by Google, by Yahoo, by Content.ad. And what they can do now is they can see, hey, if I'm making $3 CPM on Facebook traffic and a $1 CPM on Yahoo traffic, and no offense to Yahoo, I'm just making those numbers. But they can say to themselves, well, hey, I should be buying less Yahoo traffic and I should be buying more Facebook traffic. It enables them to optimize their marketing mix and their media buying so that they're getting a higher yield on their traffic buying.
Okay, and then there's also a photo gallery widget?
Yeah, so the third one that we just recently launched is a photo gallery widget, and again, that's really giving publishers more control and incorporating publisher feedback into our platform. Basically, we have a lot of publishers who have a lot of photo galleries or slideshows on their website, and think about it this way: if they pay a CPC of say 7 cents to acquire a user, and they land on that first page, and that widget has an ad in it that has a 3 cent CPC that they earn, and someone clicks on it, they've just instantly lost 4 cents, right? So they bought it for 7 cents, they click on our ad for 3 cents, and they lost 4 cents. Right. What this enables them to do is set a minimum CPC floor by page, so that on that first page they might say, you know what, I don't want any ad to be below 10 cents, so that I can guarantee not lock in a loss. As that user progresses through the photo gallery and is monetized through banners or Google AdSense or other ways, the publisher may say, you know what, I'm okay now with that CPC going down, and on the 6th page, they've spent enough time, on my website, and they've been monetized by banners enough that I am willing to accept a 3 cent CPC. So that's a control that we've put into the interface where they can pick the minimum CPC by page in their photo gallery. And that was something that a lot of them asked for, and a lot of them have been are using, and it really helps them monetize revenue per user or per session.
Okay, great. So one of the things that has kind of cast a bit of a black mark on native advertising is the practice of cloaking. How does that affect publishers and advertisers?
Well, I'm familiar with the charges of cloaking in the industry. I know there's a lawsuit going on between a couple of players in the space. We don't obviously cloak. In fact, we work with our publishers to improve the user experience rather than going behind their backs to make it worse. But what cloaking is when you're serving different ads to different people without the publisher's permission. And that often ends up with much racier ads, but it also generates a higher revenue in some cases. So it really runs sort of counteractive to something like the Family-Friendly feature, which is exactly the opposite. I think cloaking is going to go away. Publishers are becoming aware that it's happening to them and are demanding that it be stopped. And I think it's just a short-term concept that's, happening now and probably will go away in the future as people realize it's going on and there are more and more controls out there to stop it.
Who's responsible for that? Is it the network or the advertiser?
Well, there's two kinds of cloaking, quite frankly. So that's a good question. There are, we have a very, very strict compliance process. So all of our advertisements, the ads and the landing pages are inspected by our compliance team. One kind of cloaking is when an advertiser submits an ad and a landing page, we approve it, and then they switch it on the back end to something that's not compliant. And it's very, very hard when we have, I don't know, 1,700 live advertisers. It's sometimes very hard to find that advertiser that's cloaking. And unfortunately, what happens is that ad will be shown to people until we find it and we shut them off. So that's one kind of cloaking that the advertiser is definitely responsible for. The other kind of cloaking that can take place is if a publisher says to their their native platform partner, I want to serve G ads to all of my users, and that platform says, great, that's fine, we'll serve G ads, which are relatively tame, and they serve G ads to that publisher, in their corporate office or in that city, but they serve much, much racier or more aggressive ads everywhere else. And that's simply just to make more money because, unfortunately or fortunately, the racier the ads are, the higher the click-through rate, and often the higher the monetization.
Okay, so there's always going to be black hat or gray hat tactics going on in the online advertising industry. So do you ever think that cloaking will completely go away?
No, but I think I'm not sure. I think there are more and more tools out there. There are more and more controls out there. There's more and more associations that are cooperating together to get rid of it. I'm sure there's still cloaking going on in banners. There's definitely, black hat stuff going on in video serving. But, as publishers and advertisers get more sophisticated, it gets harder and harder to do that kind of stuff. And I think native, is relatively new. So there are loopholes and there are holes and there's less experience, and it's a little bit more Wild West than some of the more established sources of traffic like search and video and banners. So I think the industry will catch up. Will it ever be 100% eliminated? I doubt it, between you and me and the rest of this audience. But, I think it,
completely
the tools,
off the record.
Off the record, yes. I think it'll go down like it has in every other sort of internet arena over time.
Okay, so it sounds like you guys are on the leading edge of technology. What kinds of innovations can we look forward to in the future from you?
Well, I think some of these features that we talked about certainly are some of those innovative features. We've got some advertising features that we're going to release quite soon. We've got some other reporting features that we're going to release quite soon for publishers. I don't really want to tell you because then I'll let the cat out of the bag. Everyone will know. But
well, then we'll have to have another interview when that is ready.
Exactly. But we're always, as I said, we're really listening to our publishers and our advertisers. We're trying to roll out features that make it easier for them to be more granular and have more control, and make things just more transparent and easier for them to use. The easier the platform is for publishers and advertisers to use, the more they use it. And that's sort of our theory here at Content.ad.
Okay, so if someone watching wants to find out more either as a publisher or an advertiser, or they want to sign up, what do they do?
Very easy to do. All you do is go to www.content.ad and hit the sign up page. You can select whether you want to be a publisher or an advertiser or both, and someone will get back to you in 24 hours.
Okay, what are the criteria to be a publisher with your network?
Well, we certainly look for publishers that have traffic in the countries we serve. We focus mainly on U.S., Canada, and English-speaking countries in Europe. We obviously want publishers that have a minimum amount of traffic, and we're not interested in adult sites or sites that serve and sell any kind of illegal substances. We're looking for good quality, legitimate sites that have good quality traffic. On the advertising side, the same thing. We primarily work with DR advertisers in verticals like finance, legal, credit score, health and beauty. I mean, all the standard kind of categories. Again, we don't sell any illegal products. We don't serve grotesque ads, and we try and again we're on that balance between high click-through rate and great ads and a great user experience for our publishers.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Michael, for talking with us today. It's been really interesting to find out what you guys are doing, and I'm sure a lot of the viewers will want to take part, so thank you.
Great, thanks, Heather. I appreciate it. It was fun.